What are 7 public speaking tips to hook any audience? Let's find out. So by the way, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't miss future videos. Tip number 1 to hook any audience is to ask for a show of hands. How many of you would like to become richer? Quick show of hands. How many of you would like to become healthier? How many of you would like to learn how to become more successful? So you want to ask for a show of hands. It's one of the easiest ways to get your audience involved. Yeah, and it works actually with a real audience in person in front of you. It even works online. Yeah, in case you're watching this and you give online presentations, online speeches, it works equally as well. The key to make it work, the question should be simple enough and it should be related to your audience. Right? So if you ask a question that they cannot easily raise their hand to, it doesn't work. But if you ask the right question and if you get them involved, you get them to show their hand, it's wonderful involvement and it's also wonderful leadership because they follow your lead. Yeah, so it's one of the best ways to hook any audience. Ask for a show of hands. Number 2, show a prop. Yeah, so let's say, for example, you're talking about time management. Show a clock, bring a clock, right? Get your point across with a clock, okay? If you're talking about something sad, you know, how to overcome sadness, for example, then here, bring some Kleenex, okay? Make sure, don't cry someone, don't be so sad. Okay, these are a couple of silly examples that I throw in here on purpose, but you really want to become good at visual communication. Right, here's another example, right? I used this hook at the beginning because we want to hook any audience, correct? So for you as well, you want to think about what sort of prop could you use to get your message across. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be silly as that. So you want to become good at visual communication. That is really the goal here. But a prop instantly increases interest because everybody, oh, what does he have there? What is she holding there? What's going on? So make sure you use props. Number 3, use photographs. Yeah, photographs are fantastic to hook an audience, get the attention back, increase the interest. Of course, if you're using slides, aka Steve Jobs style, for example, that makes it much easier. The most important thing is you gotta make sure that the photos are interesting and they create an emotional reaction. No boring photos allowed. And by the way, if you're not using any slides, you can still have a supersized printout of your photo and show it like a prop right in front of the audience. So that works as well. But the key to make photos work is they gotta create a reaction. Yeah, they should either be funny, surprising, shocking, sad, whatever it might be. They gotta create a reaction. If you create a reaction, you hook your audience, you keep them in your speech or in your presentation. Number 4, get them to do something. Get them to do something, right? Show of hands is one example of that, right? Maybe you ask them to give themselves a pat on the back for doing a great job. Maybe you tell them, okay, check your fingers one time. If this finger is longer than that finger, that tells me this about your personality. I've seen all these examples, right, in live seminars and live presentations. So you want to think about what is something they can do. And another great way also to get the audience really involved is to pick a volunteer. If you pick a volunteer and you get that person on stage, and again, online you could do the same thing. But if you pick a volunteer and you role play something out with that person, or you let them test something or try something, what happens to the rest of the audience? You got them really hooked because in their mind they're like, ooh, that could be me. I could be there. I could be testing that. I could be role playing that out. Yeah. So make sure you involve your audience. You get them to do something. Number 5, use your body language the right way. Use your body language the right way. Your body language can get the attention back from the audience or can hold the attention. Yeah, if you don't use your body language in the best possible ways, you will lose your audience. So what should you do? Probably the 2 most important things by far. First of all is to maintain good eye contact. Yeah, maintain good eye contact with your entire audience. So usually you want to divide the audience into sections, and then you want to look one by one, look at each section. If it's a smaller group, let's say just 10 people, you can have eye contact one by one by one by one. But you want to be connected with them. Yeah, that way you hook them and you really keep their attention, keep their interest as well. The other thing is your gestures. Have you ever noticed that presenters who gesture a little bit more, not crazy, okay? Not like that, but who gesture more, they hold your interest much, much more. True? Because something is moving, something is going on. The presenter who gestures is usually more passionate as well, more enthusiastic about whatever they're presenting about. So keep that in mind. Have good eye contact, maintain good eye contact, and use your gestures. Number 6, tell a story or tell a joke. Yeah, stories and jokes, they keep the audience's interest like nothing else. Yeah, if you tell a personal story about yourself or a story about somebody else, it just keeps our interest. Think about it yourself. If somebody tells a story that relates to you in some way, you're all ears. True? So for example, I could share with me that when I was younger, I was a terrible speaker, I was a terrible presenter. My audience would not just fall asleep, I wish they would laugh at me after the presentation. They would laugh at me, and I was in my teenage years, I was so bad, so you know who my audience was. And the problem was I would see the same people for the next 2 weeks, and every day with a, ha ha, there's that Ben guy, right? He can't present, he was shaking, ha ha. Terrible to hear, right? Terrible. Maybe you can relate, maybe that's why you're watching this video. Okay, again, this was just a very short, very quick story example. I don't want to keep it too long here, but share a story or share a joke because they really keep the audience's interest, you know? And when you tell a joke, by the way, making fun of yourself works sometimes especially well to connect with your audience, keep them hooked, keep them engaged. Yeah, so tell more stories and tell more jokes. Number 7, share a surprising fact. Share a surprising fact. So when I talk about a surprising fact here, I mean some sort of number. My recommendation is really that you only share one number that you could write on the whiteboard or that you could put on your slide. And you just leave the number there. It could be something like 80%, right? 80%. Then you share with the group, you ask them, what do you think 80% stands for? Right? And you let them guess, and then at the end comes the big reveal, right? 80% of our employees are not 100% happy working here, right? We got to work on work-life balance. 80% of them are not happy. So what can we do to make these changes? I'm going to present that and share that today with you. Yeah, so something like that. Share an interesting fact, let the audience guess what it means, okay, and then you reveal it, and then you connect it to the rest of your presentation, whatever it might be. Yeah, but surprising facts, important facts, they really work to keep an audience's attention, so use facts. So comment down below one time, out of these 7, I know there are a handful, well, almost 2 handful, there's a silly joke. Yeah, but share with me below one time, what are your top 3? What are the top 3 that you're going to try out and you're going to use in your next speech, in your next presentation, whatever it may be? Okay, share that with me down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Yeah, and most importantly, I really look forward to seeing you for the next video.